Hey, this is Ron Keel, the metal cowboy and host of the Streets of Rock and Roll radio show.
This is Zach Wild, Black Label Society.
Hey, this is Sebastian Bach.
Hey, this is Jeff Tate of Queensryche.
Hey, this is Bruce Kulick.
Hey, this is Michael Anthony from Van Halen, Chickenfoot, and all points in between. And you and I are both here listening to The Shoe.
The Shoe!
The Shoe.
To The Shoe.
You're listening to The Shoe.
With the best guy I know. The best young guy I know, for sure.
Miles Schuman. Crank it up!
That's right, this is 14-year-old rock and roll radio host Miles the Shoe Schuman, bringing you rock star interviews weekly, talking the rock, telling the stories. You know how it is. Hey, so I had something kind of cool happen recently. I tweeted, if you don't know, I have a Twitter account. It's at Miles the Shoe. I also am on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Miles Schuman, MILES, SCHUMAN. And I tweeted a few days ago just because I was thinking about it. I said, God, let's see, where was my tweet? I said, at Howard Stern has hashtag Robin Quivers. At Nikki Sixx had Carrie Kasem. Now he has Jen Marino. And I said, I want a co-host. Just guest co-host for now. That's right. You're going to be hearing some guest co-hosts on the show in and out every once in a while. But then, to my surprise, a little bit later, Carrie Kasem responded to it and said, Miles, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can find one, with a smiley face there. And then I said, oh, thank you so much for the reply, blah, blah, blah. And she said, and I said, you know, good luck with everything you're doing outside of 6th Sense, but I miss you on that show. And she said, oh, thanks. And so it's kind of cool how Twitter works that way. And then I got some other messages on Twitter. Recently been asking if I'm going to be going to the Golden Gods Awards this year, which I was at last year, although I just went and watched the show. I didn't, I wasn't doing any interviews. And I know I will not be at the Golden Gods Awards this year, which I believe is sometime in the, maybe even, Wednesday or something, next week. No, I will not be at the Golden Gods Awards this year. Eddie Trunk is hosting it. Guns N' Roses is headlining it. I really wish I could be there because, I want to see that version. Well, I want to see Guns N' Roses, really badly with Axl and my good buddy Bumblefoot, who I had on the show a while ago. And so I wish I was going to be at that one, but unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be at that one this year. So that's to answer any questions from people asking if I'm going to be at the Golden Gods Awards this year. Anyways, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's right. Before I get into this show, go ahead and go over and check out my good friends over at Rock and Roll Gangstar Apparel. That is rockandrollgangstar.com. They have the coolest clothes and accessories. I love their clothes. Everybody wears them, from the guys from That Metal Show. Great White wears them. Queensryche, both versions of Queensryche wear them. They are really the coolest clothes and accessories. So go check them out, rockandrollgangstar.com. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into this interview. I have somebody really cool, so I'm going to go ahead and interview him now. Hey, 14-year-old rock and roll radio host Miles the Shoe Schuman, broadcasting to you no matter where you're listening from. It could be WPNT 95.7 The Panther, it could be CMS, it could be Spreaker. No matter where it is, it's still the Shoe, bringing you the rock star interviews every week. You know where to find them. Today, I have somebody really cool who I have actually met before at Bass Player Live. Mr. Dug Pinnick from King's X, and now in a new project with George Lynch and Ray Luzier from Korn. Like I said, Dug Pinnick's joining me. How's it going, Doug?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Like I just
it's a
mentioned,
beautiful day today.
Like I just mentioned, I got to interview you at Bass Player Live on the red carpet in November. That was a really cool event. How did you like that whole thing?
I had a lot of fun. Got to walk the red carpet. I tried to steal the big poster that I was on the front cover of Bass Player Live, but they made my friend bring it back in. And somebody else took it.
Somebody else took it, really?
Yeah, after we put it back.
Wow. So you're doing a new project, like I just said, with George and Ray, called KXM. First of all, before we kind of get into the background of it, what does KXM stand for? Or what's the meaning behind that name?
It's King's X, Korn, and Lynch Mob.
Oh, okay. So the X from King's X, the K from Korn, and the M from Mob or something?
Yeah, Lynch Mob.
okay.
Lynch Mob, George's band.
All right. Yeah. Well, can you maybe tell me a little bit about how that whole thing got started originally?
Oh, we were hanging out at Ray's house. He was having a birthday party for his son that just turned 1. And Ray had invited a bunch of friends over, and so we were just having a good time. And I think George or Ray, one or the other, suggested we do a project together. And we went into Ray's drum room, which he had just fixed up for a recording room. And Ray says, Ray said, check out my room, man. And then George said, hey, let's do a record. And one thing led to another, and we did a record, not at Ray's house or in his studio, but we did a record.
How long has this whole thing been in the works for?
I really don't know. Since I've been living out here in L.A., I lose track of summer, winter, and fall, but it took us 12 days, I think it was, to really do the record. And the rest of the time, we did our bass. I did my bass tracks and vocals at my house mainly, and George just did his guitar parts and stuff at his house. So we did the drums in the studio, and then we kind of pieced it together, but it didn't take us long.
How do you like that? I'm assuming by doing it in all different places, you were able to send tracks over the internet compared to how you used to do it in, back in the beginning days and everything when King's X and you were just getting started. Do you like it better this way?
I like it better because you can spend time with it and you don't have someone over your shoulder, especially a producer or another bandmate trying to tell you what you should do or whatever. I think it helps as you're at home in your own studio playing the song over and over again, getting to understand it and know it, and then put your special brand on it. I think makes you sound like you've been together in a band for a long time. If we had went to the studio and did these songs real quick, I don't think we would have had the heart in them that we put in them as we did them in our homes. Because I could sing 10 tracks, and if I didn't like any of them, nobody heard them. I could throw them away and start over again, until you get exactly what you want. And that's what I love about studios, because it's free. You live at home and you can do it on your time. And like I said, you're not on the clock, and there's no pressure. That's what I love about it, even though George is very good at putting pressure on people.
So, yeah, I guess I never really thought about it that way. I always just kind of thought of it as being easier because you can just send files to each other. But I mean, I've never really been in. I've been in a few, because I'm a bass player too. I've been in a few little recording situations, but never really had any kind of producer. So the producer's really, while you're in the studio, is really kind of hammering down on you guys.
Well, in any time you have a producer, there's somebody there watching over you, making sure everything gets done. And the producer is the guy that kind of keeps steering you in the direction that he thinks you should go. Or the producer tries to understand what the band is trying to do, and then the producer comes in to bring you to that level. And it's a lot of work. And for a young band, that's fine. But the three of us have been doing this for over 30 years apiece, and we really don't need somebody sitting over us. We've been doing this for too long, so it was more fun this way. Personally, I think it's a good way to do it. And this is 2000, we just don't do things the old way anymore. It's just the technology, the attitude, everything about making art has changed. And so, we're just trying to do it the way it's done now and make it real.
Now, is this going to be something that you can see going on for a long time, or is this just kind of a time-filling kind of project, as some people call it?
Sure, hope it goes on for a good while. I'm excited about it. I think all three of us, we feel like it's a brand new band. We've got our regular bands to play with and stuff, but, like I always say, there's always room for Jell-O.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, too. Is this in any way going to...
You didn't laugh.
Is this in any way going to get in the way of King's X, do you think?
Nah, King's X doesn't do very much. We do some shows on weekends every other month or so, and, everybody's doing their own thing in King's X. So I decided, well, if I've got all this time off, I might as well start doing some other things to keep myself moving along and to make a living and to just stop myself from going crazy.
Oh, okay. So Why do you think that is, that King's X doesn't really do much anymore? You know, we're going to get back into the KXM stuff in a bit. I'm just curious since you just said that.
Man, that's such a long story. I mean, we've been together for over 30 years, and we've got 14 records out. And, you know, we're brothers. We've done this for a long time. And we just have other interests, and we're doing other things. And to do these other things is going to help us get back with King's X and do something that we're really happy with. You know, sometimes you have to get away from each other to reload. It's like a marriage, you know. Sometimes you need to be separated for a while to just get away from each other, because, you know, when you're in a marriage or when you're with your best friends, it's like a pack, you know, and everyone has their place, and sometimes you just need to get away and find yourself again.
Oh, okay. Now, with KXM, it's kind of interesting because you never really would put, and I've heard the stuff. It does sound great, but you'd never really put Korn, Doc and Lynch Mob, and King's X together. So, how do you think that kind of comes together when you really look at it?
Yeah, you don't. It's like throwing three colors, and you look at them and go, well, I hope green, purple, and yellow can mix in some way, and you sit there and you mess with it until you make something out of it. That's art. And I think that's what we did with KXM. I didn't think about, you know, anything other than these two guys are great musicians and great veterans, and they know exactly what they want and what they're doing. And I thought, man, you know, put this together and see what we come up with. And what was great is everyone did what they did. No one told anybody what to do. Nobody critiqued the other person. There was nobody at the helm. It was the three of us just went in there, and whatever one person would come up with, the other person would try to make something up to complement it, and it became fun. And as a result of it, we love the record because we can listen to it without any preconceived ideas or from any other standpoint but the piece that I played in it, you know, which I'm excited about. They love what I did, and I love what they did. And so we just kind of smile, and we can't go out and play it. I mean, we can't wait to go out to play it.
And now, are you doing all the vocals on this album too?
Yeah, I'm doing all the vocals on the record, so I don't know how we're going to pull this off live, but we'll figure it out.
But you've always been, you know, the bass player playing, singing too. So, you know, I was once told by Phil Soussan, the great bass player from Ozzy Osbourne and Billy Idol and all those great bands, that one of the hardest things to do is playing bass and singing at the same time. How do you feel about that statement right there?
Well, I've been singing all my life, and when I started playing bass, God, almost 40, maybe a little over 40 years ago, every band I was in, they made me sing because they knew I could sing. And so from the beginning, I've been singing and playing bass, and it's not hard. I mean, if you can play drums and sing, if you can play piano and sing, then you can play bass and sing. It's just, you know, it's not hard. Everything can be learned. That's what I always tell people. But the other thing, too, is, I mean, if you're not a singer, then, yeah, you're not going to be able to sing and play bass at the same time. But if singing is your gig, too, then it's a whole different story. And I've always been a singer first, even though bass playing is what I love to do. And I would be a bass player in a band in a minute and not sing and stand in the corner and play my bass. That's what I would love to do. I've always wanted to do that, but nobody will let me.
Well, what about singing and not playing the bass? Would you ever like to do that, too?
Well, I've been doing that a lot. Side projects or just standing in for tribute shows and things like that. And I feel awkward without anything in my hand. And I feel like I don't sing as well because I can't focus. It's like when I'm on stage without a mic, without a bass, I've got all this freedom, and I think, well, I got to put on a show. I got to move around and do stuff, and I'm too busy thinking, and I can't hear the monitors real well, and there's no focal point where my voice is coming from, you know, and I just feel real weird about it. But as soon as I put a bass on and put me in front of a mic with monitors in front of me, all of a sudden these two things happen, and all of a sudden I'm in my zone, you know, and all of a sudden it works. People like it when I'm standing up singing, but, you know, people always go, man, when are you going to play bass and sing these tribute songs or whatever, you know, Thin Lizzy or, you know, or Geezer Butler stuff. A lot of stuff I've done out there, and no one ever asks me to play bass. It's usually they always want me to sing. Makes me feel a bit uncomfortable because it's like, well, I've been playing bass for all these years and nobody asks. They always get everybody else to play bass. So I just kind of figure, well, I guess I'll go sing.
Well, I've always kind of thought of it as being interesting because I feel like it's a lot easier to be a singer and a guitar player rather than a singer and a bass player because the bass is always setting that rhythm throughout the song. And while I've seen in a lot of bands where where the lead singer is also a guitar player, they just take breaks of playing while they're singing, but you really can't do that as a bass player.
Yeah, I can, but I mean the song's only 3 or 4 minutes, so.
For sure, right.
If you can't hold your piss for 3 minutes, you got prostate problems.
Right. No, I want to go back a little bit to talk a little bit about King's X. This is something that I'm sure you've been asked before, but I've never heard it, and I'm sure there are some people out there who haven't either. King's X has always been, one of those bands that should have been a lot bigger than you guys were, and the talent is there, and that level of enthusiasm is there. But what do you think it is that never made you guys break out to the levelness of some of those big huge monster bands like Kiss or Black Sabbath or anything like that?
Because we don't appeal to that type of a crowd. I mean, our music is it's thought out. It's above a lot of people's heads when it comes to what people like. It could be many things. Too many notes, too many chord changes. Could be out in black. Could be people don't get it. It could be the songs suck. I don't know. Our old manager told us one time. He said, "Doug, you guys are like fine wine." He said, "Those who love it, love it. Those who don't." And that's the way it is with us. There's a group of people that just completely love everything that we do. Then the rest of the people kind of go, "Oh, yeah, whatever." And that's kind of sad because either you want to be loved or hated. But King's X has always been either you love them or you just kind of go, eh. So you don't get the hate side, pumping you into the masses either, because, I mean, think about it. There's many people that love Justin Bieber, that many hate him, and their websites and the hate groups and all kinds of stuff. And, I mean, it's all about popularity. It's just if people are talking about you and people are interested. For King's X, we've just been one of those bands that makes this nice little art that a handful of people love. It ain't nothing I can do about it. I've reckoned with it and figured, well, this is my lot in life. The thing is, so we've got to do everything that anybody that does music, we've got to do it. I've got to travel the world, play for thousands and thousands of people, and been loved and adored, and did the whole rock and roll thing with videos on TV and radio. I mean, it's pretty much what everybody else has done. I mean, how many bands have come on and had their 1 or 2 songs on the radio, and then nobody heard from them again, and they're gone. King's X, we just keep going because that wasn't the what's the word for it? That's not the end all. Is rock and roll fame and fortune. The adventure is just going out playing for people who want to hear you and making a living at it. And so, we've settled into that, and it's a good deal. Mm-hmm. In fact, I say to a lot of people that ask, what's it like, not making it? And I go, it has nothing to do with that at all. It's all about the adventure. I picked up a bass one day, and I started singing one day, and I had a dream. I wanted to go out and do this in front of people, and I'm still doing it. And, when you smell the roses, sometimes you don't worry about the desert in front of you or behind you.
So how do you think that the songs that KXM puts out will appeal to audiences compared to how your songs with King's X have or do?
Well, I ain't doing nothing different with KXM as I did with King's X, and for some reason people love this record. So all I can say is, I like to make up scenarios or parallels, but it's like salt and pepper. You know, you just season your food, and some people like too much salt, and some people like a lot of cayenne pepper. You know, it's just
Right.
It all depends on what you like, and that's the way it is with KXM. I'm in another three-piece band with a drummer and a guitar player, and something about the flavor that they're putting with what I do, it seems to be appealing to more people than it was for King's X. But then, you know, as far as I know, all the King's X fans love us, and now all the George's fans love him, and Ray's fans love what he's doing. So we've got a nice little fan base to build upon, which has been a lot easier too than being with King's X. So I think that's a plus.
It's come out to the audiences really well. It looks like I'm going to read this right now. It says it was the number 31 it debuted at number 31 on the Billboard Top 200. It was number 3 independent releases, number 7 top rock albums, number 1 hard music chart, number 6 iTunes rock albums, number 1 Amazon hard rock, and it was the featured artist for Nikki Sixx's Sixth Sense at Best Buy. So wow, it's been very, very successful.
I tell you, if that was 20 years ago, we would have been a number 1 on the charts and sold 1 million records. Isn't that something?
Yeah, this is that kind of brings me to a topic that has always kind of been interesting to me, is how the music industry has changed. How back then, like you just said, something like this would have been platinum, real quick. While
well, financially it killed us, and fans don't want to hear that, but it's just what happened. And okay, so now you get our music for free, and you're not going to pay for it. Okay, there's nothing I can do. Once you give somebody something for free, you can't turn around and make them pay for it. So that cat has been thrown out of the box years ago, and we fought it and lost. So the bottom line now is for us to figure out new ways to generate money and to continue to do what we do and make records for our fans who want to hear the music, and accept the fact that they're going to download 10 copies for their friends, and they're not concerned that I'm not making any money, because they don't understand. They think that we're making lots and lots of money. We're living a rock star dream, but no, we're usually making less than they're bringing home to raise their families, and that's why we're doing side projects and appearances and in stores and all kinds of things like that. It's just so we can make a living and pay the bills monthly. And but it might sound like I'm complaining, but when the internet happened, and how long ago, 15 years ago or whatever it was, or longer, I can't remember anymore, but everybody lost their jobs. Sears isn't as big as it used to be. Penny's almost went out of business. Everything went to the internet, and the whole economy changed, and people lost their jobs, and we're still losing our jobs because of the internet. Sooner or later, we'll figure it all out to make a living again through the internet. But until then, we're in limbo. We're in the Wild West. It's actually an exciting time, because look what's happened. We've got Facebook, and we've got Google, and we've got all these new things coming up where you can find work in that genre. In Silicon Valley down here in LA, it's crazy. There's so many jobs on there for people who are into, into computers and that whole programming thing. So everything changed, and we're still working on trying to figure out how to continue doing what we do. Sorry about the long-winded message.
Well, I think that kind of had to be said. Gene Simmons once said that, in his opinion, the fans killed the music industry. What do you think of that quote by Gene?
I wouldn't say they killed it. I will say that because someone figured out a way to download our music for free, and when somebody's out in the street giving money away to somebody, aren't you going to run over there and grab a couple of dollars, or are you just going to walk away? And then if somebody says, oh, man, give me that money back now, and you go, why? You gave it to me, and I'm halfway down the street, or I spent it, that's the way I look at it. I think that's the way people look at it. They don't see it the way we see it. And they're not going to, because they don't live behind the doors that I live behind where I make the music. And the people that do understand will pay. I know so many friends and fans who will go out and buy that record or buy that CD and download it or whatever they have to do, but they will pay for it. They say, we're going to help you out, Doug. And I go, thanks. But I do know that that's just a small majority of people, or minority of people. And the rest of the people, it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm guilty of it myself. Everything I get, my old brother or somebody will call, oh, man, bring me a copy here. Okay. It's just, we do it so naturally we don't even think about it.
Now, it says on this thing that, like I had read before, that it was the number 3 independent release. But I'm reading this on the Rat Pack Records website. What do you guys mean by independent release, or what do they mean by independent release?
Well, Rat Pack is just an independent label. It's not a major. It's not Atlantic or CBS or, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
The big labels, Columbia, Capitol, if they're still around, but the big corporate labels, no. An independent label is sort of Megaforce and Metal Blade and Rat Pack and labels like that who grab bands that aren't really big and put them out there and really get behind them and become a force. I think independent labels are really cool because they reach out to the average person and they give you a better product than some corporate bullshit that you get from, the other labels that spew this stuff out that all the children buy now. They think it's the greatest thing.
Now, the money that you make from this record, does that mean more from an independent label, or would it be the same if you were to be signed with a major label?
Everything's negotiable with a independent. That's what's great about it. And all independent labels have different philosophies on how they want to work with the band. But for us, we want to keep our own masters. We want to be able to control our music as best we can, and independent labels are way more open to that because they understand that that's how you're gonna, get the profit back. Major record companies, they just kind of put you in the machine and walk away, basically, and they'll throw you in every place that people can see you, and then they'll leave it there. And if people are interested, they'll buy it. If they're not, they'll walk away. Then the record company will come back and say, oh well, nobody's interested. See you. Or, okay, we'll make another record, but we want more money from you, and we want your publishing, and we want your t-shirt deals, and we want everything so we can get our money back. And, and the thing, too, is that independent labels don't give you a lot of money, but you can make money, or you can make records cheap now. And back in Atlantic days, we were up to a couple $1 million in debt to those guys because they just throw money at you, and if you're not spending money, they act like it's not going to be successful if you're not spending gobs of money. And they learned the hard way, that doesn't work. You gotta hone in on there and get with the people. So, I think independent labels are much easier and much more fun to work with.
That's really cool. I didn't really know much of that stuff. So, hey, I'm learning stuff now.
Cool.
So, we're still here talking with Dug Pinnick, and Doug, we were just talking about the whole independent label and how that differs from the major labels and everything. This album is a self-titled album, KXM, and it was released when? I don't see an exact date here.
I think it's about, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know.
Well, it's out in stores now, so you can go find that. But anyways, how have the personal reviews that you've seen or read or heard been so far? We know what they look like commercially, but to you personally, how have they been?
They've been overwhelming. I'm just waiting for the bubble to break and somebody say something horrible. But it's been great support. People have loved it. There's been very few haters. Those who have, you just kind of take it with a grain of salt. But it's been a great response, especially from King's X fans who are very forgiving because they want a new King's X record really bad. And but they've been forgiving and encouraging. So it's been good.
So is this something that you guys are going to go out and tour on too?
We have to
support the record, right?
Got to. You can't put a record out like this and not go play it. It's going to be fun.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Hey, well, how can people keep up with everything that KXM is doing and what you're doing, in general?
Yeah, we have KXM Facebook. and Dug Pinnick, D-U-G, Pinnick on Facebook too. You can find out what's going on. Or just put KXM in Google and you'll find all you need, or King's X or Dug Pinnick. It's pretty easy to find out what we're doing these days. I probably am messing up here because that's probably a place I'm supposed to tell you to go where everybody should go, but I actually don't know at the moment.
Oh, okay. And what about, because you've released a few solo albums, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Do you ever plan on releasing any more?
Well, I just finished my last solo record a few months ago. It's called Naked, Dug Pinnick Naked. It's been out for, maybe 6-7 months. I'm not sure.
That's right. I heard about that. I had heard about that.
So I'm not planning on doing another solo record for a bit because I've got a few more side projects I'm dealing with, too. So I'll get the side projects going, and then I'll get back to doing a solo record and hopefully another King's X record.
Hey, well, that's awesome, man. Anyways, this is Miles the Schuman. We are coming to an end here with Dug Pinnick. Thank you so much, Doug, for calling in and talking to me for this time.
No problem, Miles. Anytime, buddy.
All right, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and play Rescue Me off of the new album. Can you give a quick, tell me a little bit about this song before I play it?
It's pretty self-explanatory. We were just writing lyrics and trying to come up with stuff, and I was just thinking about, my status on relationships, and so I just kind of wrote a song about it, and hopefully that people can relate to it that are still out there looking for that special person,
Hey, well, it's an awesome song, and I'm going to go ahead and play it now. So this is Miles the Schuman. Doug, thank you so much, man.
You rock, man. Thanks.
All right. Have a great day.
Okay, you too, man.
All right, bye.
Hey, this is Dug Pinnick from King's X and KXM, and you're listening to Miles the Schuman.
Hey, this is Miles the Schuman, 14-year-old rock and roll radio host. That was KXM's Rescue Me off of the debut album, KXM, out in stores now. Find it. That features Dug Pinnick, who we just talked to, Ray Luzier from Korn, and legendary guitarist from Dokken and Lynch Mob, George Lynch. How about a little bit of George Lynch and Mr. Scary, you know? All right. The Miles the Schuman will be back after this.
Hey, this is Sebastian Bach, and you are listening to The Shoe. Turn it up.
Miles the Schuman, 14-year-old rock and roll radio host. That was Youth Gone Wild, of course, classic Skid Row song. And speaking of Skid Row, their original lead singer, Sebastian Bach, has a new album coming out on the 22nd, April 22nd, so on Tuesday, titled Give 'Em Hell. Give 'Em Hell is what it's called. And I believe Sebastian should be coming on the show anytime soon. I was hoping to have him on this week, but it didn't end up working out, so he should be coming on in the next few weeks. I've personally heard some songs from the new album, and I gotta say this, I'll give this to Sebastian, I absolutely love that album. I think it's spectacular. I think you guys are gonna love it too. I wish I could play tracks from it right now, not sure what I can and can't play, so I'm just not gonna play anything from it. Come next week, I will be able to, though, so I'm really excited to be able to talk to Sebastian. Also coming out on the 22nd is Winger's new album, called Better Days Comin', also off of Frontier Records, just like Sebastian's. And I've heard a few tracks from that album, too, and it's amazing. Rat Race, which is the first song that I heard off of the album, I absolutely love that song. That's probably my favorite Winger song ever. So if you've always thought of Winger to be kind of that, for the girls kind of hair band with all of their original songs, they're back harder, heavier than ever. So go ahead and check out Better Days Comin' off of Frontiers Records on the 22nd. Another record that I'm really excited about that's coming out in the next month or so is Michael Sweet from Stryper's solo album. Michael's a friend of mine. He's been on the show, always been very supportive of me. And I'm excited to have him back on when his solo album comes out. If you never heard any songs off of No More Hell to Pay, Stryper's release from November of 2013, their most recent album, my favorite Stryper album. So I'm going to go ahead and play a track off of it, so if you haven't heard it, you can get introduced to it, and then go check it out. So this is Miles the Schuman. What should I go ahead and play? I think I'm going to go ahead and play Legacy off of Stryper's No More Hell to Pay. This is Miles the Schuman. We'll be back after this.
Built an empire that in the end
Michael Anthony from Van Halen, Chickenfoot, and all points in between. And you and I are both here listening to The Shoe with your host, Mad Schuman. Come on, Matt.
Mad Schuman, I like it.
we're running a little bit hot tonight. I can barely see the road from the heat coming on. Reach down between my legs, ease the seat back. She's running, I'm riding, right behind it, real me now. Got the feeling, power's hearing, busy popping, ain't no stopping now. Panama, Panama,
It's The Shoe. I love me some Van Halen. That was Panama, classic David Lee Roth era of Van Halen. And then before that, that was Pound Cake, my favorite Sammy Hagar era song. This is Miles The Shoe Schuman coming to an end on the show. I'll see you next week. Rock on, everybody.